American history. Everything you need to ace American history in one big fat notebook. Thanksgiving in Plymouth. The first winter in Plymouth, about half the pilgrim died from cold and starvation. The rest was saved when two Native Americans, Somerset and Sukenanto, helped them make peace with the local Wampanoag tribe, whose leader was Massasoit, and taught them to grow maize and other crops. That's where we get the myth for the first Thanksgiving, with the idea that the pilgrims celebrate by inviting Massasoit and his people to a harvest feast. New England colony, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. In 1630, led by John Winthrop, about 900 people settled in Boston. Their goal was to start a perfect Christian society, a concept known as a city on a hill. A general court was established to create local laws. It was made up of representatives, but only male members of the church, those who were elect, not elected, but thought to be chosen by God, could vote. Meanwhile, the Puritans in England were feeling more and more threatened by religious persecution. Tens of thousands left between 1629 and 1640 in what's known as the Great Immigration. King Charles I granted the Massachusetts Bay Company, a Puritan joined stock company, a charter to establish a colony near Plymouth. The Salem Witch Trials. In 1692, in Salem, Massachusetts, some young girl accused people of casting spells on them. A special court was formed to judge witchcraft cases. The court often forces confessions from the accused. Although people eventually admit that they had made false accusations, by the time the witch scare ended, 19 people had been ejected for witchcraft. Connecticut. Thomas Hooker, a minister, disagreed with John Winthrop's leadership. He led his congregation, a group of people brought together for religious worship, to found Hartford, Connecticut in 1636. Hartford and two other towns joined together to become their own colony, and Hooker dropped the fundamental orders of Connecticut, the first written constitution in North America. Under the orders, male citizens who were not thought to be elect could still vote. Rhode Island. George Williams, another Massachusetts minister, believed that people shouldn't be forced to go to church, that settlers should pay Native Americans for land, and the church and state should be separate. This was so controversial that he was banished. Banished, forced to leave, were no longer welcome. From Massachusetts in 1636, his congregation followed him and founded Providence. In 1638, Anne Hutchinson banished from Massachusetts because she believed in personal liberation, and the minister didn't need to be members of the elect. Another reason for her banishment was probably that she was a woman who spoke out. Hutchinson and her sympathizers founded Portsmouth near Providence. In 1644, the area became the colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. New Hampshire. In 1638, and Hutchinson's brother-in-law, John Wheelwright, fled Massachusetts for similar reason. He led the people who agreed with him north and founded the town of Exeter. The area became the independent colony of New Hampshire in 1679. King Philip's War. In 1675, 3 members of the Wampanoag tribe were tried and executed by the English for murder. Wampanoag chief Montacomet, known as King Philip to the settlers, son of Massasoit, felt that the British had no right to execute his people. Also, the Wampanoag were losing land in spite of effort to compromise with the British. War broke out and hundreds of settlers and many Wampanoag were killed, including Montacomet. The English claimed victory with help from their trading partners, the Pajot and Mohegan tribes. Afterward, the English expanded into Native American lands faster than ever. The Middle Colony, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New York. New Netherlands was a thriving Dutch colony, seeing the large number of prosperous Dutch people between New England and Virginia. England wanted this land for itself. In 1664, England sent to flee and unprepared for a battle, the Dutch surrendered. The colony was renamed New York after the Duke of York, who got it as a proprietary colony. New Jersey. The Duke of York gave some of his land to Lord John Beckery and Sir George Carteret, who named in New Jersey. They attracted settlers by starting a representative assembly and offering large amount of land. But because New Jersey had no harbor, it was hard to make a profit. They sold their share of the ownership in the colony, and the colony reverted to the king's control in 1702. Pennsylvania. New Jersey had a large population of Quakers, a religious group later called in the Religious Society of Friends, who were said to tremble or quake before God, and who had been banished from New England. The Quaker beliefs of equality of the sexes, non-violence, and tolerance felt like a threat to Puritans. King Charles II handed over the land to Quaker William Penn in 1681 to pay off the debt Charles owed Penn's family. Penn established Pennsylvania, where Quakers would have religious freedom, and founded Philadelphia. It attracted thousands of people and became one of the largest cities in North America. The Mason-Dixon line was originally a line of locks laid down by 2 people named Mason and Dixon to mark the border between Pennsylvania and Maryland. Oh, can't you just draw this on a map? Delaware. Penn also got land from the Duke of York. Delaware was south of his other holdings and was occupied by a large Swedish population. It was still officially part of the Pennsylvania, but Penn let them govern themselves. Chapter 7. Regional differences. As the population of the 13 colonies increased from immigration and high birth rate, the differences between them became more prominent. Vast distance and poor communication also lead to differences. They developed individual culture as well as a shared American culture. The main differences between the colonies hung on facts, population, economy, government, slavery. Northern back country, middle, southern identity, plantations. The South had a lot of plantations that grew cash crops including tobacco, indigo, and rice. Each plantation was like its own town, and people lived far apart. There was almost no manufacturing or other business. Tidewater aristocracy. Because plantations were large and few, a small number of wealthy people live in the South. A tiny percent of the population controlled almost all the money and power. The wealthiest planters lived along the Tidewater section of Virginia, which had good soil and navigable rivers and shipped tobacco and other crops